Hey guys, what's going on? So today is all about runes. This was a fan suggested video and I thought it was a good idea, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So first let's talk about where to get runes. With the exception of ancient runes, so the best runes, you can actually farm all other ones. So rare, heroic, you can farm them just in the normal chapter stages, I believe. If I remember right, you can start getting them on the hell stages. So all chapters, chapter 1 through 6, hell. And of course also in chapter 7. Sadly, I can't really confirm that right now because it doesn't show any rune drops anywhere, but I'm almost certain once you can start doing hell mode, you can start farming at least heroic runes. But we're mainly going to be talking about ancient runes because that is kind of the goal. You want the best runes, obviously, because they're just better. So in my experience, how I've been playing, the best way to get ancient runes is pretty expensive, and it's using these rune crafting scrolls. You can buy these from Maze Shop. They're not very rare actually, and it says here it also drops from the Tower of Challenge as one of the first clear rewards. And then you go into your crafting. We have all of our slots full right now, so we're going to exit that out. And you can see here it takes 8 scrolls, 2,500 rune fragments, and 25 codex. You get the codex, you can buy them from the guild store, although I wouldn't recommend that. I would just farm, because you also get them, I think, starting on hell and or chapter 7. They are random drops. It says here you can get them from the guild raid or the guild shop. When you kill guild bosses, you get this as part of the reward. But I'm also sure you can find them while farming later stages, harder stages. Also, once you can start clearing hard mode of guild raid, you can actually just buy an ancient rune for 1,000 guild tokens. I think this is very much worth it. There are also these boxes. Let's see if I can find one in here. Here, the Rune Box Ancient. It says gain a variety of runes, heroic or ancient. It says there can be heroic in there, so I don't know. The rune box says ancient. This says you can potentially get heroic, so I've never bought this before. So honestly, I can't really say if, well, let's buy one. We have enough tokens. I'm gonna stop saying maybe for a second and actually figure out what the hell's going on with this box. But here in the drop, it's only ancient runes, and I think you can get up to 2. Yeah, you got 2. So actually those are pretty good as well. I don't really need runes right now. I think I have the most important runes on who I need them on, and the chances of getting one that's really good anyway is pretty low. Like mostly attack, very, very good. Those are like probably the best runes you can get, followed by maybe MP recovery. I don't think they're as important. You know, crit damage, crit rate, HP is also good for tanks. It's just you won't need as much of those because you'll have way less tanks than you will ones that want attack or MP recovery, crit rate, etc. We can also craft some just to show how that's going on. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just 6 runes cost 15 million gold. Again, I don't really need them, but just for the sake of demonstration, let's go ahead and do it. And you just open them, and yeah, I actually don't think I needed a demonstration for that. And I got pretty much nothing for it. Rip gold. But yeah, when you don't need some runes, you can just go ahead and grind them. I mostly actually just grind all heroic in the meantime because I have so much extra of the other runes. I'll probably keep the red ones, except maybe the penetration and accuracy and such. And then you get quite a few shards there. You use those. I also saw a K-Gaming video the other day that said he sells these because yes, you can get quite a lot of gold from that. There's 32 million there. That's quite something. I would save a little bit if you are interested in crafting ancient runes though. So the main source for me has been guild shop and crafting them, buying the scrolls from Maze Shop. Maybe we have some in here. I haven't really been buying them recently because again, I don't really need runes right now. But yeah, you'd go to Maze Shop to find them. You can technically also get them from the World Boss Shop, but I definitely wouldn't recommend that. I would just stock up on Blessing of Earths because that's way better. You can't get these artifacts anywhere else. You can get ancient runes and a variety of different places. There'll sometimes be some special packages in the shop as well that contain some ancient runes. Nothing in there currently, I think. I mean, maybe there's some like packages over here. Well, there's some heroic runes. No ancient though in the starter packs. But yeah, I guess you get the gist of it. So now where to put runes? Okay, let's just take a look at your average DPS here like Mitra. Well, he's not so average, I guess, but he's basically your DPS. The weapon is going to be the hardest because of course it has 3 slots unless you don't have a unique weapon there, but the armor and the secondary armor are very straightforward most of the time. So for pretty much everyone, you want crit rate and crit damage in their rune slots, almost. It's not like that for everyone, but for the most case it is. If you need them to be doing damage, then mostly that's going to be it. I have it the same way with my healers because heals can crit, and Mediana is also a special case because she deals a decent amount of damage as well. So for Glady, again, crit damage, crit rate. But there are some special cases like Philip, for example, giving him an HP rune on his armor because he wants as much HP as possible. I'm building a deal up, as they call him, those kids. So the more HP he has, the better off he's gonna be, but he also needs crit. You know, crit's important because some of his skills have like passive crit going on there. I should also have Battle Cry. Okay, this isn't a video about Phil. Maybe I will make a video about him, you know, deal up in Arena or something. I haven't tried him too much. I'll be honest, I'm not taking Arena too seriously at the moment. I'm just kinda, I don't know, it gives me anxiety, so I'm just kinda avoiding it for the most part. I'm doing at least like one set or 5 or 10 battles or whatever. But point is, you will have some special cases like Philip where you want a weird sort of combo like HP and crit rate. It will also vary on a case by case or hero by hero basis what their unique weapons will get. For example, Glady here, he has 2 attacks and an MP recovery. I gave him an MP recovery with the Black Dragon set, so it's even more MP, because he is quite mana hungry. You can see one of his skills here puts him in a god mode state, and it consumes mana every time that procs. So with the fast attack speed, it almost looks like, you know, when Protanius does his Tsunami, it kind of looks like that, so he needs a lot of mana to try and recover that. Also, his ultimate punch takes 4, quick strikes is a very short cooldown and it costs 2, so he's quite mana hungry, that's why I gave him 1. I think 2 might be a little bit overkill. I think it's overkill for almost anyone to have 2 there, unless you really don't need attack power on them. But for example, Mitra isn't mana hungry at all. In fact, he gets a lot of his power just from auto attacking, and his third skill here, Dance With Me, that costs 4 mana, which is quite a lot, but it also has a 25-second cooldown, so it's not so bad. He also does have the Black Dragon set, so that kind of makes up for the lack of any MP runes. So I just gave him 3 straight attacks there. Mediana's kind of the same way. She's not too mana hungry, honestly, because her skills have long cooldowns, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and 23 seconds. But I figured attack isn't super important for her, so I just gave her an MP. So, because I do use her in Arena as well, and the faster she can get off her skills, you know, the higher chance of victory. So since it doesn't really make sense to go through every hero and suggest which runes they should have on them, because I don't know all heroes even, I'm just going to ask you to ask yourself a couple questions. Number 1, are they a DPS? Philip is not a DPS, he's a tank. He can do decent damage with the deal up setup, but I figured it's mostly more in Arena. And so if they're really a DPS, like Lorraine can be a DPS even though she's more CC, she can be a DPS, and for that reason I do give her crit and crit rate on her gears as well. She's naked right now as far as gear. I'll pretty much actually also, you know, because of that costume, but if they're a DPS, give them crit and crit damage. If they're a healer, give them crit and crit damage. If they're a healer, you can also give them crit and crit damage. If they're basically not a tank, you can give them crit and crit damage on the armor and sub armor. The unique weapon again is more complicated, more comes down to the individual hero. The question I have to ask there is, again, are they a DPS? If they are a DPS and you want them to do damage, most likely you want at least 2 attack runes. Besides that, then you have to ask yourself, are they mana hungry? Do their skills require a lot of mana with low cooldowns, or do they have some special skill like Glady has with his second skill that reduces their mana? I think Theo has something similar, or something that just doesn't allow him to gain mana while in the War God state, or Thunder God. I think Theo is Thunder God, whatever, it doesn't matter. If they are, then you want to give him at least 1 mana rune. If you don't have them on the Black Dragon set, which most people are on the Black Dragon set, but if they're not on the Black Dragon set, then you can consider 2 if they're really mana hungry, because as you can see, the Black Dragon set is equal to 640 MP recovery, whereas 1 rune is 480. So the full Black Dragon set is actually more than a full Ancient MP recovery rune. So if you're not on the Black Dragon set, you may need 2, depending. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the DPS side of things, or for everyone except tanks, and maybe supports as well. But DPS, sub-DPS, and healers, you basically want that sort of setup. So for a general tank like Claws, let's say, from what I've heard, if you have their unique weapon and have access to those 3 rune slots, basically you want defensive options. These are all the options actually available for the unique weapon, and there aren't really that many. So we have MP recovery, we have lifesteal, M-Tough, P-Tough, P-block defense, and M-block defense. For the most part, especially if you are going to run ice on your tanks, which, you know, is kind of recommended because it gives them more HP. HP is good for tanks. then I would run, if you don't have the unique weapon, just an MP recovery on attack. That's usually a very solid, safe choice. If you don't feel they need more mana than they already have, then I guess you're going to be going for Im-Tough or P-Tough. In Claus's case, I would lean more towards P-Tough because he is kind of a physical tank and a physical blocking tank, and he will have a lot of P-block from his options and just naturally, so P-Tough would help more there. Honestly, I'm still not too sure how P-Tough, Im-Tough, and especially not P-block defense and Im-block defense really work. I've just heard that Im-Tough and P-Tough, it would be the best in slot when you have the unique weapon, so it would be like one of each for a tank. Without it, I'd probably just go with the MP recovery. That's very general though, all tanks are different and have different needs. Basically, P-Tough and Im-Tough reduce the damage you get from magic or physical, depending on which rune you have. And if I were to take a guess, Im-block defense and P-block defense make P-block and Im-block block more. So if you have high Im-block and or P-block, then that might also be good, but I've never heard anyone recommend these runes, so no one's even talking about them at all. You know, that's why there's like no information about it, and I wouldn't have any idea how to test it myself, so I don't know, probably just leave those alone for now. And for the armor and sub armor, mostly again it's going to be HP here. We do have some other options like P-block and Im-block. That's the chance at blocking damage. It doesn't block it fully, but it does mitigate it very heavily. If you're going to go for a block, I would recommend Im-block because P-block is pretty easy to get on the substats or on your options because it is available there, unlike Im-block. For the most part, I would just recommend HP. It's safe, it's more HP, you know, it's always good. There's also accuracy, which, you know, would be okay if you're like, I don't know, which I mean would be okay if you can't find an accuracy line, because tanks do need at least. So yeah, basically in general, HP is going to be good there, unless you're only using a tank for one specific thing where you know it's going to be magic or physical. For the sub armor, there aren't too many options. You can go for P-dodge, Im-dodge, or MP recovery on damage. Typically that's what I'm going on because, you know, more MP is never a bad thing. For Claus specifically, he doesn't really need it, especially with the Black Dragon set and an MP rune. He's kinda, his skills don't require too much mana. You know, this one's 2 with a 12-second cooldown, this one's 1 with an 8-second cooldown, this one's 2 with a 9-second cooldown. So he doesn't need it too much. I just didn't really see a point for P-dodge or Im-dodge. Again, never really been a fan of those chancy type things, especially when I don't go for dodge anywhere else on his gear. Some warriors and stuff like Nyla and I think Castle would want P-dodge or Im-dodge there. I think it's mostly P-dodge. If you're just not sure and it's not Castle or Nyla or one of those others that really benefit from P-dodge, then go ahead and just go for MP recovery. Maybe you can give them an Im-block or P-block on their weapon instead of an MP if you find that they have enough MP or even too much MP. That may be the case if you have Black Dragon. Maybe it evens out somewhat when you go for like ice for a tank, like Claus for example. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. If you have any questions about runes for a specific hero, you can drop them down in the comments below and me or maybe someone else from the community can answer your question. I was kind of forced to make this video pretty general guidelines sort of thing, so this advice may not be perfect for every hero, but I think generally on average, the recommendations will do fine for you. They've been doing fine for me. I think I'm doing pretty okay, so that's kind of the guidelines I go by myself. But yeah, again, if you have any questions, just drop them down there. Leaving a like if you happen to enjoy would also be greatly appreciated. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.